guys, I'm Amy and this is my lovely fiance Maggie and we're ThinkerThemer. And if you're new to our channel, we look at board games from two different perspectives. Firstly, from the mechanics or the thinking element, which tends to be my domain. I'm a little bit more competitive than my partner Maggie.
She's also the thinker.
Well, look, I wouldn't say that she doesn't think, but Maggie loves the story. Maggie loves the theme. And so we will be looking today at a game from these two perspectives, Calico. I just received Calico from Kickstarter. Finally, the wait is over. Super thrilled to be talking about this game today, which is a surprising little package.
So Calico is by designer Kevin Russ, and it's by AEG. And in Calico, you're essentially designing a quilt, or each player is putting together their own little quilt with these beautiful little patches with different patterns. The whole design of it is actually really beautiful.
It is stunning.
Yeah.
It is really high quality production value from AEG. I love the recessed boards are amazing. So let's talk a little bit about the gameplay. This is a game that I would absolutely be happy to teach anybody. A dream game in terms of that perfect combination of being easy to teach, yet really satisfying if you're a heavier gamer, which means that it's really open to a broad range of people. But let's talk briefly about the gameplay. You have your player board, which is your quilt that you're working on, and on your quilt there are 3 objective tiles. There's a variable setup for the game. You essentially draft those from 4 that you pull out at random, and those objectives have sets of colors or patterns that you're trying to achieve. And on your turn, you are simply, from your hand of 2 tiles, placing one down on your quilt and then replenishing your supply from the 3 publicly available next tiles that have been drawn from the bag. Really easy. All you're doing, placing a tile, getting a new tile. But I think it's the placement of the tile that just is such a crunchy, delicious puzzle. I just absolutely love this game because there are so many different things that you can focus on. You can focus on the objectives on your board, which essentially you are looking to surround your tile with a set combination of either all of one color or all different patterns or pairs of patterns or pairs of colors. You don't have to achieve those, but you get kind of victory points if you do so. If you have 3 colors that align, so you match 3 purple tiles or 3 blue tiles, you immediately get to take a button and add that to your quilt. And then you've got the variable setup of the cats. And so every game you'll have 3 different cats, and these cats are attracted to different types of patterns. And you can see here that this cat Coconut wants us to have 5 or more tiles together in our quilt that are of one of these 2 patterns. And as soon as you achieve that objective, you take one of these cute little cats and you place it onto your quilt. And so between the buttons, the objectives on your board, and kind of bringing all the cats to the yard, you've got your cats to the quilt. You have lots of different options to you, but what is really interesting is actually it becomes so thinky when you're trying to achieve a combination of those objectives. And what I love about this game, my favorite part of this game, is really the 3 objectives that are on your board, because you're trying to surround the 3 tiles with the right combination of pattern and color. It rewards you if you can achieve the combination for both, which is very hard to do.
Yeah.
But what I love is that they overlap. So the puzzles, the objectives, they overlap. And so it's like, for me, it's like a game of Sudoku where you're trying to figure out how to achieve both of those things within a single kind of space. And so I'm getting so much satisfaction out of this game, and generally speaking, I don't really like kind of this style of game where it feels a bit more like 2 people playing their own game.
Solitaire, yeah.
Yeah, but because the only time that there's really interaction in this game is if someone takes the tile that you were hoping for, and it is so frustrating because the puzzle is so complex that often you just need one tile. I just want the yellow stripy tile, and then it will come out and you're just like, please don't take it. please don't take it.
Yeah.
And then you'll take it.
It's like playing poker. Like you've got that poker face of like, can't
Yeah.
on that. I really need that tile.
So I think if you wanted to, you could keep an eye on what the other player is doing and take a tile that they need. But ultimately, every tile you take into your hand, you have to play onto your quilt. So you can't be too vindictive because, you know, if it doesn't fit on your quilt, you're only doing yourself a disservice.
You're gonna mess up your own game.
Yeah, that's right. So I am really impressed as well about the quality of the components of this game. You know, you kind of never know what you're going to get, but with a Kickstarter, but AEG have done a fabulous job of creating these really deep recessed boards that, you know, you put the tiles in and they stay firmly where you've put them.
Very satisfying to like, fit them in.
Because every game doesn't end until everyone's completed their quilt. And I think that's great because you know that ultimately you're going to fill this entire board.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's super satisfying.
Yeah. So in terms of how well integrated and the theme is actually quite good because you do feel like you are building your quilt. You do feel like, you know, you've got different patterns and you've got a bit of design choice with the objectives. Because some of them are about like making sure that they're all different or making sure that you've got, you know, 2 of this color or that color. Along the way, you are getting to make some of those choices and as Amy said, like because you have to they have to match because your objectives are all quite close to one another. There is a bit of an artistic flair of like, well, you know, what color is going to work here with this pattern or that pattern. And the buttons. If you manage to complete all the different buttons, you get an extra bonus rainbow button. And so like the components, like the buttons are cute. The animals, the actual cats themselves are cute. I love the fact that some of the cats were actually the cats from some of the backers, the Kickstarter backers. So that adds another, you know, cute little element. I love the concept that, you know, different cats are attracted to their particular patterns. And so you're kind of trying to kind of please your cat or that particular cat to bring them to your quilt. And overall it just feels really nice. It's just like a fun, it's easy to teach, easy to understand, but then there's quite a lot to sink your teeth into as well.
There is, and I think that this is a game that will just have such longevity in our collection. Like, you know, absolutely we would recommend buying this game and owning this game and keeping it as part of your collection, because I could equally see ourselves playing this with my mum. You know, she would love the theme and be able to understand it quickly, through to like our, you know, most hardcore gaming group who would see this as a bit of a reprieve probably from some of our other longer games, and one that we might bring out, you know, if it's kind of later at night, because it is so satisfying, and there's still like to achieve all of your objectives and to get some of the bonuses. It's still really competitive because it's a really hard puzzle to complete. So I think that you could have two different groups of gamers or friends and have just, everyone's going to have a fun time with this. Everyone's going to be able to grasp it. And I think that, you know, even if you're only achieving a small proportion of the total points that are up for grabs, it still feels really good.
Yeah, everyone's going to get to complete their quilt. Everyone's going to be able to see like their full sort of the fruit of their labor. And I also love the fact that there's multiple ways of getting those points. And so along the way, you don't necessarily know, it's not very clear who's winning. So you don't get that defeat, which I often suffer from because she wins pretty much all the time. But yeah, I'm usually not a sore loser unless I can see that there's no way I'm going to catch up. And with this, you don't really, you have no idea what's happening. You don't really know in terms of like, you know, you could be having a button strategy, or you could be having a cat strategy, or your objective strategy. So there's a lot of almost surprise and delight of like, oh, this ended up working or that didn't work. And it's still satisfying the whole way through.
I think there's a bit of a push your luck element to this as well.
Definitely.
Because you only have a set amount of time, i.e. from, you know, start to completion of your quilt to achieve those really difficult objectives on your board. And your destiny is really tied to what comes out of the bag. So anytime that you're drawing out of a bag, of course, there's some kind of luck involved. But It's about the timing of when you give up on one objective in order to achieve another. And I've totally tanked this game by trying to be very clever and achieve all of the objectives on my board. But I've been waiting for a single tile, and I think, I left it too late in the game to decide to ditch one of the objectives. And in fact, I think I ended up not achieving any of them. Yeah. And so there's that real tension between holding out for the right tile and just making the best of what is drawn.
Yeah, it's like how much ambition versus at what point are you just going to have to
cut your losses, make the best of what you can.
Correct.
And move on. I love this game. It's, again, there's not a lot of competitive tension in the classic sense of the worker placement style games that we love. But the tension is kind of with yourself and optimizing the puzzle. And I love this game.
Yeah.
Can't recommend it enough.
Yes. Definitely will be part of our collection for a long time. And it'll probably definitely hit the table quite often because it is very easy for, as you said, any level gamer to bring this out.
So that's Calico. Hope you enjoyed this review. We highly recommend the game. Get out there, add it to your collection. I don't think you'll be disappointed. If you liked this review, please feel free to subscribe to our channel so you can be notified about our future reviews. And if you love Calico or you have any questions about the game, feel free to let us know in the comments section. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye for now.
Yeah.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
It's a slapper.
Well, that's really irritating. Oh, look, you can't even see the game. Hi, and welcome to ThinkerThemer. Oh my God, what is wrong? What is wrong with it? It's going to be the best outtake, by the way. Hi, and welcome to ThinkerThemer. Ah! Oh my God, who am I? Who am I? Okay.
2 hours later.
2 hours later. Can we have that as an edit?
Yeah.
Nailed it.